pull the score. Were you jealous because you didn't get your 20%? Dr. Lester? Yeah.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to my live streams. This is just a news podcast live stream. So, yeah. And where was my YouTube channel here? Well, I'll probably have to go into hell. Go down to probably like YouTube. No, wait, hold on. Back. Fill your channel. News broadcast 6. Copy. Then I'm just going to Hell's blank.
Night, sunshine.
Okay.
Apparently he's in the hospital having his vagina cleaned or some shit.
Good, thanks, yeah. New supervisor, Steve Haynes. He's on that TV show.
Really? You got it?
He's okay.
Like I care about your funding. I'm out, Dave.
You're not. I need you to meet my boss. We'll
Atomic
be downtown
bomb
in the plaza
farting.
between the FIB and the IAA buildings.
Yeah.
Hey, Michael. David. Well, this is nice. You can totally for double dating. Sorry, guys. This burn uncle loves online.
Brilliant.
Steve hates me, but you probably knew that already. Sorry, your name tag was falling off.
Oh, yeah. I love it.
I gotta remember to write that down. And to shoot you in your head, you little dick. Andres, taking notes? This stuff. Whoa! Pure magic. I should put it on my show. Have you seen my show? You mean how to dress like a salesman on a cheap golf weekend at a third-rate country club?
So, well done with our friend, Mr. K.
My pleasure. I love helping our government wage war, especially with itself. But you made a mistake. Did I, Cupcake? Why don't you keep your fucking voice down before you close your fucking windpipe? The joke stopped now, pal. You will show me and my team some respect. Maybe you could define team for me. Is that just the three of you? Or the greater FIB? Or the entire government? Because I'm tempted to argue that thus far, we haven't shown a lot of your colleagues a whole lot of respect. And why don't you start with me, genius? You got it now. We have received intel that they're keeping Mr. K at the local agency station. I just dealt with that guy. The agency is stepping up their questioning because they want moronic
Okay.
down to the warden's office.
Okay.
We need to get him out of there before he blacks. I did what Agent Norton said. Then I guess you getting involved with a clapped out old agent who's been living off of past glories was your first mistake. You are my boy now, career depends on this. And that's very important to me. So seeing as we're all boys now, that makes it important to you. Now run along, kids. See, there you go, Dave. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. Wow. The Santa.
That's not the name in your file, Michael. Steve Haynes here.
Yeah, Agent Douchebag. Hey, that poor sumbitch we grabbed for you still breathing?
See for yourself right now. Trevor Phillips is on his way to help with the debris. Warehouse, off Dutch London and Banning.
Great. Sounds just like my kind of party.
Ah, Townley.
It's the Santa now. Your department set me up with the cover, remember, dipshit?
And we can burn you just as easily. Look, I don't know why you're calling, but I need your help with Mr. K. Trevor's on his way. Warehouse, off Dutch London and Banning.
This I gotta see.
Who the fuck is this? The guy keeping you out of the gas chamber. Townley's on his way. We need to talk face to face. Warehouse, off Dutch London and Banning. Oh, we can do more than talk, my friend. See his face that last time I popped. Boom! Oh, ladies! God, asshole. You back there. I know you. You I don't know. Yeah, well, until I see reason otherwise, why don't we just keep it that way? Steve, what a pleasure, bro. Oh!
Titanic's on YouTube and it's 3 hours. And also, I did get the Soli. So, yeah. I actually got a copy on my YouTube account. So yeah.
In 2012, I told a story about the future. I don't like looking back at things I've made in the past, but in the last couple of weeks, I've had some emails saying, Tom, 10 years ago, you tried to predict 2022, or at least some of the technology in the online world of 2022. You should look back and see if you were right. So I come back to the same place that I gave that talk. Back in summer 2012, this was a warm, friendly. Temporary festival site with a lot of people on it, and now it's a cold, rundown, deserted bit of scrubland next to a motorway, but it's the same place. I gave it a reason question.
Yeah, so basically, as I said in last night's live stream, I'm planning on uploading every Tuesday and Thursday. No, every Tuesday and Thursday. I said it last live stream, but I am planning on also uploading every Wednesday. So basically, every Tuesday will just be World of Outputs video. Every Wednesday will just be a random video. Then every Thursday will be a real flight simulator video. So yeah. So there's that. So hopefully that's gonna be something. So yay. I might even upload sometimes 2 videos per day on those channels. I'll probably only upload like 1 to 2 videos, sometimes 3, but mainly just 1 video on my channel. So yeah, per Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So yeah. Then obviously every night will be my good old live stream of just news. So yeah.
having looked back at the talk to get my actual genuine reaction. And it was a terrible video. I'm bad at improvising, and I've got a dozen more things I want to say right afterwards. So now I've had some time to think. Let's go back 10 years. See what I got right, see what I got wrong, and see if I can predict 10 years from now.
I've got a story for you. It's set in a future. Not necessarily the future. I'm not saying this is what will happen.
I think that's the first time I ever used that phrase. It's a get out of jail free card, a way to hedge my bets and say, I'm probably going to be wrong. I use it a lot when I write speculative fiction.
April 2022, 10 years' time. First person we're going to meet now is Jason Stewart. He's the MP for Tooting and Streatham. He is the Minister for Social Development. Considered kind of a hot shot among his party after winning his seat in the 2020 general election, a very hard-fought contest.
All the political guesses there were completely wrong, but then when has anyone ever been able to predict politics? Also, the faces in this talk weren't originally blurred. I've used YouTube's tools to go back and blur them in the original as well, because there is a big difference between asking a friend, hey, can I borrow your headshot? This talk I'm just giving to a few people, and can I show that to however many people will watch this new video? I've got to do this hair there.
This is a 2022 iPhone. Looks about the same. Laws of physics dictate you still need a battery brick.
That's a hit. It's a very easy hit. The borders of phone screens are going to get smaller. It's not exactly a difficult prediction to make. And by sheer luck, I used a black background on the phone so you can't see if there's a notch on it at the top. One second thing I got right there as well, Apple did change their font. Back in 2012, they were using Helvetica. I picked the wrong...
Your car deserves more performance with every drive. Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline. A fuel like no other. More performance with every drive.
Ooh, I don't think they take that here.
Of course they take Discover. It's stuck in the past, baby.
You're the one who owns 13 pairs of parachute cameras.
And these are my 14.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places nationwide.
So this happened when I was 20 years old. I'm 22 now, so it's not that long ago. While in college, I was a babysitter during the week for a family, and sometimes I would nanny for this other wealthier family on the weekends. They would go away often on the weekends and leave their 2 kids, so I would stay in the house for the weekend with the kids. I had a whole dedicated guest bedroom just for me, and the family was super nice, so it was honestly great while it lasted. It happened in the fall. The leaves were all falling and it was chilly outside. I had gotten to the house Friday. Friday night went completely fine. I just played with the two kids, who I'll nickname James and Jessica. James was 7, Jessica was 5. They were both cute and well behaved. Their bedtimes were 7:30 for Jessica, 8:30 for James. During the day, I played with each of them with their toys. The family had 2 dedicated rooms for their toys, one for Jess, one for James. Jessica loved her dolls and doll houses. I spent a lot of time playing with her. James loved playing his video games, so I'd watch him play. These kids really had everything, and the house was gorgeous. It was a giant property with a big pond in the middle. It had a separate 3-car garage, and then a pool with a pool house across the pond, which was also a bar and rec room, pool table and darts, arcade games, and a giant TV and multiple sofas. This family was so well off and over the top that they even had an intercom that connected from the pool house to the actual house, so that if you press a button on the wall in either place, it would ring and then you could talk through it. The pool house also had a giant window that overlooked the pond and had a view of the house. So after the kids went to bed, I was free to do as I pleased for the night. It was great. I wasn't supposed to have friends over though. That was a rule I respected. I would just FaceTime my friends and watch movies in the pool house to pass the time. It was not a bad place to have free time in, I'll tell you that. I started getting hungry, so I walked back across the property to the house, entered the code to let myself in, and went to the kitchen. They had so many snacks and food that I was allowed to help myself to. I grabbed a frozen snack from the freezer and threw it in the microwave. When I was done, I went back across the property to the pool house. I liked hanging out there more because I could be louder on the phone and have the TV as loud as I want without waking the kids. I was on the couch eating, watching the movie White Chicks, while texting a bunch of my friends. I was just in the middle of telling my friends how great of a gig this was. The intercom beeper gave me a heart attack. I went to go press the answer button. I heard Jessica's voice on the other end, saying she's scared because she keeps hearing noises. Usually she'd sleep through the night, so I'd have to go tuck her back in. I set my food down and ran back across the yard to the house. I entered through the door with the code lock again and went to Jess's room. She must have ran straight back to her bed after we got off the intercom, because she was already back in her bed all scared. I went to her and tuck her in just so she wouldn't be scared anymore. When she felt better, I left her room, shut the door, and walked down the hall back to the kitchen to grab some wine. As I was looking for a wine opener, I heard the ever so lightest crack in the wood floor from another room. I froze and looked in that direction, instinctively waiting for a second sound. I didn't want to start freaking myself out now. I didn't want Jessica saying she's hearing noises to get in my head. I was thinking it was a regular house settling noise. I admit I was a little creeped out now, but I left the lights and TV on in the pool house, so I had to go back. I went outside, locked the door with the code, and ran across to the pool house. I sat back down on the couch and resumed eating the rest of my food. I didn't end up bringing the wine. I still had White Chicks on, so I was mostly just getting distracted on my phone. And that damn intercom went off again, making me jump in my seat. I hurried to answer it. When I did, there was silence on the other end. Jessica, I said into the mic. Though for sure I heard someone breathing. That's all I could hear. I said both Jessica and James' names at least 3 times each. Now I was actually starting to become terrified. I called my friend Kelsey, told her I want her to come here because I'm actually getting really scared. I told her that the little girl I'm watching said that she was hearing noises, and then I heard a noise. Now someone pressed the intercom button but didn't say anything. It felt like it was not something one of the kids would do. I was still on the phone with Kelsey, who was telling me to stop being paranoid, but she also sounded drunk. I was looking out the window to the house the whole time I was on the phone with her. The hallway lights turned on. I told Kelsey this, and any ounce of possibility that it was one of the kids disappeared when a large figure stepped into frame at one of the hallway windows. I screamed and dropped the phone. I was looking at a grown man who seemed to see me, and he was looking back at me. I realized the intercom was still on this entire time. I picked up my phone, hung up on Kelsey, and called 911. And as I did, I was crying, screaming into the intercom that I'm calling 911 right now. Leave us alone. I was basically screaming everything I said to the police into the intercom. I went back to the window. He wasn't at the window in the house anymore. I was hysterical, crying, begging the 911 operator to please hurry up. She kept yelling the address into the phone, saying, please hurry. She asked, are the kids safe? I screamed, no, they're in the house still with that man. That's when I heard the scream of Jessica through the intercom. I completely broke down, fell to my knees crying. She said, the police are almost there, you need to wait. I replied, he has the kids. She asked if I saw if the man had any, leading the 2 kids who were already at the door. I grabbed both of them and led them back across the yard to the pool house with the lights off. Both of them were crying, and I still wanted to as well, but I had to be strong and keep it together for them. I still was on the phone with 911. She eventually told the police are here, that they'll come meet us at the pool house. Those words were the most comforting words I've heard in life. Flashlights of the police shone through the windows. Led the kids to the door, where we met a couple police officers. The female cop took the kids with her to one car. I went with another cop to another car. There were already 3 cop cars in the front of the house, and more kept showing up. I was answering all the questions.
Yeah, so basically, I am planning on trying to do every type of flight. Oh, hi, though, to viewers. On this newest broadcast thing that I have now, I'm planning on just doing every type of flight for my YouTube channel, my main YouTube channel. And also, since if I go down to Facebook, I told one of my friends that all my YouTube channels, basically my whole entire company, is $1,000. It didn't barely go up, so I needed to go up. So technically, I can just live stream. Since on my second channel I do have live streams to do, and also obviously my main channel helps. Plus also, I am going to get close to 500 videos. I just need to do like a few more videos, then I'll get it to 100. No, 500. And I should get to 600 and 700 at some point. Probably by the end of summer, which is crazy. So basically, my whole entire YouTube channel is just company basically is just not up to $1,000. Since I deleted basically all my main YouTube channel videos, then now I have to just upload a lot more. So yeah.
While the story centered around Michael, Franklin, and Trevor, Los Santos was packed with some unforgettable side characters who brought just as much personality and life to the world. Whether it was Lamar clowning on Franklin every chance he got, or Lester pulling the strings from the shadows, each one left a lasting impression. But after the final mission fades and the credits begin to roll, have you ever wondered about what actually happened to those characters? What happened to Lester, Lamar, Ron, and the rest of the side characters after their stories came to an end? In this video, we'll be finding out where are the GTA 5 side characters now, and can we expect to see one or more of these characters appear in Grand Theft Auto 6? We'll be starting with Jimmy Santa. In the main story, Jimmy is a kid who sits on his ass all day, smoking dope and f***ing off while he plays that f***ing game. And never worked a day in his life. That was until Lester offered him a job in games. Jimmy assumed this meant something in esports, but much to his dismay, this was actually a job at an old retro arcade. Jimmy reluctantly accepts the offer and is reminded by Lester that everyone has to start somewhere. He initially started with sweeping floors and helping clean up before eventually moving on to setting up the arcade machines. Due to his poor work ethic, Lester had his doubts that Jimmy would even last a week. Then, a few years later, Jimmy makes an appearance with the Cluckenbell Farm Raid DLC and he's spotted at a burger shop purchasing drugs from Aaron Ward, which is callback to the mission Did Somebody Say Yoga? Although Jimmy doesn't have any dialogue, this is the last time we see him. It's unclear if he continued working at the arcade, but given that he's still hitting up the same dealer after over a decade, we know that he hasn't changed much. But before we get into the next character, let's talk about today's sponsor, Green RP. Have you ever wanted to create or play? Jimmy's sister, Tracy DeSanza, was notorious for chasing fame by any means necessary, whether it's through talent, controversy, or sheer desperation. Back in 2013, she managed to land an audition on the chaotic talent show Fame or Shame, and while her performance wasn't exactly groundbreaking, it left a lasting impression, so much so that her reruns of her appearance are still being broadcasted on the in-game TV to this day. Against all odds, it seems Tracy has managed to cling onto the spotlight just long enough to carve out a tiny piece of celebrity status. At some point, she even launches her own line of TV merchandise, which somehow finds its way onto the racks of local clothing stores. It's also mentioned at the end of the game that Tracy gets accepted in college, and despite this happening during the optional ending where you kill Michael, I think that this would still be the case in the canon ending, but it would happen off screen. Although Tracy appears through reruns and a t-shirt, she doesn't actually make a physical appearance in GTA Online, so we don't really know where she ended up. But this left fans to speculate, and when it comes to GTA fans and their speculations, it can get pretty wild. Fans have theorized that the blonde girl from the GTA 6 trailer is actually Tracy DeSanza. I'm not too sure where this originated, but I'll leave a link to the Strange Man's video about this because he breaks it down pretty well. But to quickly recap, the person in the trailer bears a pretty strong resemblance to Tracy, with a similar hairstyle and matching facial features despite the difference in graphics. The next clip in the trailer is the lady holding the hammers, and she says,
Who's back?
we all thought this was Rockstar's way of saying they're back with the new GTA, but could this actually be a clever way to reference Tracy's return? A lot of people have instantly dismissed this theory because the person in the trailer acts nothing like Tracy. She's completely covered in mud, which is something Tracy would probably freak out over. But this wouldn't be the first time Rockstar has done a complete 180 with the character. In fact, Marnie Allen is a member of the Epsilon in GTA 5, but in GTA 4 she used to be an addict. Then with Johnny Klebitz, he used to be completely against drugs, but in GTA 5 he became addicted to them. So it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibilities for Rockstar to do this. Let me know your thoughts on this one. I'm on the fence with it, but I'd love to know what you think in the comments. Next up, we have Franklin's best friend, Lamar Davis. Throughout the story, Franklin and Lamar share some hilarious moments, including that iconic roast. The last time we see Lamar in GTA 5's main story is during the final mission where he helps Franklin save Michael and Trevor. After of enemies, Lamar dips out while the trio deal with final targets, but he later calls him that he made it out alive. While this is the last time he appears in the story, his journey is far from over. Lamar later goes on to feature multiple times throughout GTA Online, and this is where some people get a bit confused with the timeline. So before the main story, Lamar meets our GTA Online character at the airport and welcomes us to the city. Then later on with the Lowriders DLC, Lamar introduces us to Benny and his Lowrider missions are said to be before the events of GTA 5's story, but I thought it was after, given that Benny's shop doesn't actually appear in story mode. So that. Moving forward to the Los Santos Tuners DLC, set roughly 8 years game, Lamar's Emperor is spotted inside the LS car meet. While Lamar doesn't make a physical appearance, we can confirm that the car belongs to him, as the plates read Lamar G, which confirms that Lamar is still floating around in Los Santos. Then in the Contract DLC, Lamar officially makes a physical appearance, now running his own business, LD Organics. In the update, Lamar contacts us about Franklin running his own business with F. Clinton and partner. Anyways, throughout the missions, Lamar is often seen lingering around the office, usually roasting Franklin as always, but Franklin and Lamar are the only returning characters for this update, because during one of the cutscenes, we actually get to see Chop, who makes a surprise appearance. With this update came the short trips missions, which honestly felt like a story mode DLC featuring Franklin and Lamar. It kicks off with the pair catching Vargos raiding Lamar's warehouse, leading to a chase, a shootout, and their product being blown up. Seeking revenge, they torch the Vargos stash and steal a van full of weed and escape back to the city. Later, Lamar turns that same van into a weedmobile and tries to pitch LD Organics to Epsilon members. Things go south when the Vargos show up again, thanks to Lamar leaking their location on Snapmatic, and during their escape, the van starts burning up in the heat, causing them to get high. Using this to their advantage, Lamar tells Franklin to pull up at Tequila La, where they'll use the smoking van to promote LD Organics. Feeling the effects of the weed, they end up smashing into the building, but the plan still works because it attracts a crowd and they all get high, which
maybe one day I should start my own gaming company. Oh, and also, my YouTube channel is almost up to 500 gigabytes estimated. So yeah.
Don't let your summer getaway get away from Island X.
Hopefully, I don't dox myself by writing this, but I'm a graffiti artist, or as some might see it, a delinquent. I'm fine with either title. Point is, I like to spray paint, and I'm decent with a can in my hand. The tagging can be this. People aren't friendly, and there's no respect between artists. Because of this, I've adopted a much more inconspicuous routine. I like tagging up quieter spots where my art likely won't be seen by other artists or the general public. Old good.
So basically, one way that I could base my company's how much it will up, since right now I'm sitting at like $900 of my company's worth. So technically, I could just make a lot of community posts. So like, I could just have like a community post every single day, and also on Sunday I could have like a whole entire day of community posts, and I could still have that for like Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. And also I could just a lot of channels, plus also on all those channels, plus also basically on all of my channels that I haven't uploaded my first long form video on. I'll upload my first long form video on, plus also I'll have my first ever community post on all of them, and also YouTube short on all the ones that I haven't had that on. So that should bring my price from 900 to like 950, while I also have these live streams and those community posts. So yeah. Plus also, I do not know well my SD card holder cases. I think it's out of my living room. So I got it. Yeah. So basically, I have a 64 gigabyte SD card. Uh, I only have about 500 megabytes on it. So yeah, I also have two of. So I also have. Like my well, my Duolingo streak, but I do have a 128 and 256 gigabyte SD card, and I'm trying to just downloading a lot of my live streams and just putting them on these SD cards, so then I would actually have like somewhere where all those are saved. So yeah. So also on my 128 gigabyte SD card, I'll have a lot of output videos that I have tonight. Then I'll download a lot of flash streams that I have on my channel. Then I'll just film a flight, just like a random flight in a Boeing 737 Max 8, and it will just be straight. So yeah, so that would be that. Then that should be 100 my 128 gigabyte SD card close to being like it's like 10 gigabytes left. Then I'll just transfer some all of my files from my PlayStation video files and photo files onto my 128 gigabyte SD card. Plus, also I got this nice model plane that's like some type of metal, and it's a light flyer, like the first light flyer. So yeah. But I do have to go to the bathroom, plus also I had to set this somewhere and also my SD card case somewhere. I love that one view. I made it back into my bedroom, and the view is gone, but I don't like.
Yes, train cars are endless, and new trains get commissioned and left to rot on them all the time. My friend Lucas likes to come with me when I tag up people, but he's not big into the whole thing himself. I welcome the company. Some people don't understand the importance of a good friend, and I think that's sad. Most of my other friends don't seem to respect my time or interests as much as he seems to. Lucas and I found ourselves smoking on some nameless set of old tracks I found earlier that day on Google Maps. I'm not a big stoner myself, but he smokes a lot of weed, so I often indulge to match his vibe. It wasn't that late, maybe a little past 10 p.m. We finished a J and talked as we walked alongside the old, rusty freight train. Oddly enough, there wasn't a single tag on the entire train. It must have been recently moved here, I thought, excited that I'd get first dibs on such a good service. I tossed Lucas a can for him to mess around with, and I started doing my own thing. About 5 minutes later, I finished my first tag. I admired it for a bit before moving to the next car, then the next. About 15 minutes and 2 paint cans later, I had 3 decent tags up adjacent to one another, and I was pretty proud of myself for how they looked in combination with each other. Sorry in advance if this offends anyone, but I tend to discard my empty cans wherever they go dry. Though I flung them back the way we had come, enjoying the satisfying clattering sound of ball bearings bouncing around the inside of an empty can. I then caught up with Lucas, who had seemingly rolled and lit another joint, neglecting the paint I had given him. For context, the reason I'm not a big stoner is because I started getting unbearable anxiety highs much more frequently, maybe 90% of the time. In hindsight, smoking 2 J's with Lucas was a borderline detrimental decision. After all, we were doing something illegal, which was already pretty anxiety-inducing. I smoked the second joint anyway, confident that I'd be okay. As soon as the final sparks floated off the J, that's when we heard it. A muffled clang from somewhere behind us rang out into the night. The two of us froze and stared into the darkness. I could feel droplets of sweat forming around my neck as adrenaline began coursing through me. I couldn't tell if the sound had come from outside of the train or from inside one of the cars. It was hard to tell which option was worse. We waited for a full minute in silence. Nothing. That's when I whipped out my phone and recorded this video.
Fuck you! Ah, fuck!
As the video shows, whoever made that noise picked up one of my empty paint cans and threw it at us, before chasing and shouting at us. You can't really see the paint can in the video, but I swear to you, that's what the burst sound was. As we frantically made our escape, whoever was behind us yelled, "You better not trip, boy." A few seconds later, an actual gunshot sounded off behind us, almost causing Lucas to trip and fall. It startled me so much that my finger slipped off the record button on Snapchat and the video cut out. We bolted down the tracks until they intersected a main road and didn't stop running until we were a safe distance away. I don't think I've ever been more terrified in my entire life. It didn't help that I was stoned out of my mind. My hands were literally shaking. So were Lucas's. We found our way back to the car and drove home in silence. What was I supposed to do? Call the police? I was literally breaking the law. That wasn't an option. The story doesn't end there, though. I actually went back to those tracks a few weeks later, this time during the day and equipped with my trusty Glock 17. To my surprise, the train was still there. Despite that, there was a pretty glaring difference this time around. In the 3 spots where my tags had previously been, now ugly blotches of red paint. Someone had deliberately covered my work. Quietly, I kept investigating, and eventually came to a train car with its door wide open. I took a look inside. It was bizarre. The train car was completely empty, except for a chair in the direct center, what looked like ropes and chains scattered about. Some of the ropes were wrapped around the legs of the chair, and others were just lying on the floor. The weirdest part was the smell, though. The whole car smelled like bleach. If you closed your eyes, you would have guessed you were in a cleaning supply closet. I can't overstate the smell though. It literally smelled like the whole train car had been doused in bleach. I went to take a picture of the scene when I thought I heard a metal clang somewhere further down the train. I could have imagined it, but I wasn't taking any chances. That was enough for me. I was out of there as quickly as I had come, and told so many people the story, and none of them could rationalize that psycho's action in a way that makes sense. I doubt a homeless person would be able to get their hands on a gun, but I can't fathom why someone other than a homeless person would respond so aggressively. Why they decided to cover up my tags is another mystery. I think the most disturbing aspect of this whole thing was the chair in the middle of the train car. I really want to go back to those tracks just to take a picture of what I saw, but I haven't worked up the courage to. I have no idea if whoever was there that night was really shooting to kill us or just trying to scare us. But sometimes, late at night, it's just me and my thoughts. I can still hear that shot ringing in my ears. As I'm writing this, it's early July. This story took place at the beginning of summer. I usually try to hang around my college town or travel to Europe in the summer as a way to avoid going home. But that wasn't a possibility this time around. I found myself reluctantly returning home with I just had to make it through 1 week, and then I'd be on a plane to Germany. I didn't really feel like seeing any of my old friends, but I wasn't too keen on staying home either. So I found myself waking up early and spending my entire days hiking, watching movies, or even just driving around aimlessly. It was my last day home. I was getting bored of the stuff I had been doing and wanted to do something a little more exciting. My friends and I used to train hop, one of the many unruly activities that I had since cut out of my life. I decided what the hell, and drove to a secluded set of tracks I knew about. Freight trains always passed through here, so I knew there would be many options. The tracks were surrounded by trees and various flora, part of the reason I had chosen them. The last thing I needed was to be caught for doing an illegal activity after having been clean for so many years. I parked my car and made my way over to the tracks. Let me describe the layout so it's easy to understand. This specific set of tracks ran through the trees for a while before entering a tunnel. A very small clearing on the other side of the tunnel, and then a massive bridge over the water. My friends and I used to ride the train all the way across the bridge, but since it was just me, I would have no way of getting back to my car unless I felt like walking 10 miles. So I decided that I'd hop on the train and take it through the tunnel, hop off, and get a peaceful walk back to my car. I walked along the tracks and waited for a train to pass. It was probably 2 or 3 in the afternoon. Finally, after about 10 minutes of walking, I started to feel the familiar vibration of the rails. I quickly ran to the side and tried my best to stay out of sight. Usually, as far as I know, freight train conductors didn't care enough to report people walking along the tracks, but I didn't want to take any chances. The train passed, and I waited for a good amount of cars to go by before emerging from my hiding spot. I picked a car that looked easily attainable and began jogging alongside the train like I had done 100 times before. Once I was confident enough, I grabbed hold of the ladder and swung myself up. It was pretty easy. The train wasn't traveling very quickly. As my part of the train was about to enter the tunnel, I saw a strange flash of light from up ahead. I assumed it was a spark from the train or something. But truth be told, I had never seen anything like it before. I hoped there wasn't an errant wire or something dangerous in the tunnel, but it was too late to hop off. The train started picking up speed since the tunnel was perfectly straight, and I closed my eyes as the adrenaline rush started coming on. Just then, I felt a hand reach out from the darkness and literally grab my leg. I lost my footing and nearly slipped, but my hands were firmly gripping the train. I screamed and kicked, but the train sped by before I could make contact with anything. Before I could even comprehend what just happened, I felt another hand slap against my leg. I screamed again before scrambling up the ladder, hopefully out of reach. My heart was racing. What the hell just happened? The train exited the tunnel, and I hopped off without thinking. I waited for the train to completely pass and watched it chug over the bridge. I remember pacing back and forth in the little clearing, thinking about what just happened. Like, were there really people in the tunnel? And what could they possibly be doing there? Why the hell would they try to drag me down? All these thoughts and more were racing through my mind when a stark realization struck me in the face. The only way back to my car was through the tunnel. There was absolutely no chance in hell I was walking back through that tunnel with those people in there, especially since they'd be able to see my silhouette and I'd be walking through darkness. I sat on the ground for what felt like forever. There was no other option. I couldn't walk across the bridge without risking my life. A train could come along at any second, but the bridge was too long. I considered calling someone to come rescue me, but I wasn't even sure if they'd be able to do anything. Police weren't an option. It was breaking the law just being here. I had no choice. I picked up a rock and started making my way through the tunnel. There were 2 people in there, which I knew for a fact. There could have been more. I had no idea. I got about halfway to the point where I felt the second set of hands. I heard something. A faint clicking was coming from somewhere in the tunnel. It sounded like a human clicking their tongue, but it could have been made by a machine. It was honestly hard to tell. I froze and thought to myself, continuing to walk this tunnel was a death sentence. I felt a rush of confidence and pulled out my phone. You better stay back or I'll shoot, I threatened, my words echoing off the tunnel walls. There was a moment of silence. The clicking stopped as quickly as it had begun. I was obviously bluffing about having a gun, but I figured it was better to bluff than just walk in silence. I then pulled up a video on YouTube of a gunshot sound effect, turned up my phone's volume, and played it. It was honestly louder than I was expecting, and with the echo of the tunnel, I prayed to God that whoever was in there bought it. Without waiting another second, I sprinted full speed into the darkness, bracing myself for a fight. I didn't stop running until I had reached the other side. By some miracle, no one tried to grab me. After making it out of the tunnel, I looked back. There was another flash from deep in the tunnel. This time, though, it subsided long enough for me to clearly see 2 silhouettes standing on the tracks facing me. That was it for me. I turned to leave. And as I was jogging away, the nastiest screech I've ever heard emanated from the tunnel. It sounded barbaric, definitely human, but far from normal. I
Don't like sharing your pipes? Then share them your Scoopapalooza.
don't plan on ever train hopping again. The New York City subway system is a scary place. I've been an MTA worker for 7 years, and nothing really surprises me anymore. When friends and family ask if I have any stories, though, there is one that stands out among the rest, one that I can't explain. This happened to me about 2 years into the job, but I remember it like it was yesterday. I was pretty acclimated to everything at that point, and things had become routine. I was stationed in Brooklyn at the time. I was doing some routine maintenance in High Street Station. There wasn't a soul on the platform. It was actually kind of eerie. You're used to these subway stations overflowing with people, so seeing them empty and almost deserted looking was a strange adjustment to make. I hadn't seen a person on the platform in hours. It was dead silent except for the buzz of the lights and the occasional passing train. Out of nowhere, I heard a clang from somewhere down the track. It startled me so badly that I dropped my mop in shock. The sound wasn't something I was used to hearing. The best way I could describe it to you is that sound that a rock would make if it had been dropped on a metal rail. I stopped what I was doing and looked into the tunnel, listening for other noises. After a while, I concluded that whatever I heard had either been caused by an animal or a fallen piece of cement. After all, these stations were pretty old. I went back to work, not thinking too much about the sound. About 10 minutes later, the same sound shook me from my concentration. Only this time, it was probably...
I don't know if I should end this live stream at 1 hour or just wait 2-3 hours. I'm just going to wait 2-3 hours.
twice as loud. This time, I actually became a little concerned. Dare I say scared. Was it really possible that those chunks of the ceiling had fallen in the span of 10 minutes? I put down my supplies and walked over to the trying to be quiet. I peered into the darkness and couldn't really see anything. I debated whether or not it was a good idea to call out into the tunnel, and ultimately decided against it. I still figured it was nothing, but after the initial fear had worn off, I was more confused than ever.
Hello there, one viewer. Welcome to my live stream. Oh, he left. You know something I should do in this live stream? I really should schedule a lot of my live streams. Like, at least next week's live streams. Hell, so yeah. So, news broadcast number 8. So, news broadcast hashtag 8. Then I just need to put in the background color. And yeah. So news broadcast 8. So now I just need to go into my main and file option for Sunday. So yeah.
I kept trying to think of things that could make it sound like that, not once, but twice. It was especially bizarre since the second sound was louder. I tried to keep my mind off the sounds and went back to work.
Are you the same exact viewer that joined like a minute ago?
Pleased that I get to leave this weird station soon. As I was wrapping things up, I heard something that gave me the chills. A child's voice called out for help from inside the tunnel. He sounded like he was in distress. I instantly stopped what I was doing and made my way over to the edge of the platform. I hesitated for a few seconds before deciding that a child in anguish wasn't something my moral conscience would allow me to ignore. I walked down the steps leading onto the tracks and waited for my eyes to adjust to the darkness. I shouted into the tunnel, asking that kid if he was okay. No response. That's weird, I thought, starting to feel nervous about this encounter. Just then, the kid's voice rang out again, repeating his call for help. I yelled back, asking him if he could hear me. He responded yes, and I asked where specifically he was. There was a brief moment of silence before he just said, "In front of you. Just keep walking." I really didn't want to, but I couldn't just leave some helpless kid all alone on those tracks. It was dangerous. I began walking forward, and something dawned on me. I yelled into the darkness one more time, this time asking the kid what was wrong. An uncomfortable pause again before the kid responded, "Just keep walking." I didn't like that. This whole thing was off. My eyes finally adjusted to the darkness, and I was able to slightly make out what was in front of me. There actually was what looked like the shadow of a kid just up the tracks. There was something else that almost made me scream in fear. Another shadow, this one much taller, obviously an adult. My blood ran cold, and I stopped in place. This wasn't happening to me. As slowly as I could, I turned around and made my way back to the platform. Luckily, I wasn't chased on the way back. The kid shouted, "Wait, where are you going?" once I reached the platform. But I wasn't sticking around another second. I made my way up the stairs and called the police as soon as I got cell service. I told them everything, and police were swarming the platform in a matter of minutes. I waited to see what they turned up. After about 20 minutes of searching, they did find something chilling. There was a single kid's shoe just lying in the tunnel, which the police hypothesized could have signified a struggle. After hours more of searching and scouring every available database for missing children, we were told we'd receive a call if anything ever came up. It was concluded that whoever had been down there, though, had hidden somewhere in the tunnels. I have no idea what to think of this experience. This is the best theory I can come up with. Some kidnapped a child and forced him to yell for help in an attempt to lure some unsuspecting Good Samaritan into a trap. Or hell, maybe it's their own kid, who they're raising to also be a psycho. I can't think of any other reasonable explanation besides this one. And if I'm right, I can only imagine what that kid must be going through.
Great variety, lamb and turkey, tender and crunchy. Try dog chow, tender and crunchy.
With Chase, you can get a debit card for your kids' independence and parental notifications.
did it, alright?
I know. Good dog.
Look, man, Devin Weston came to talk to me. He wanted me to clap Michael and let Trevor go.
Then you should have clapped both of them.
Man, ain't it something you and Dave can do? Because he might be pissed, man.
Dave can't do anything. Dave's lucky I let him do my paperwork. He's this close to discharge with no pension.
Well, shit, is this something you can do?
Sure, I can talk to Devin. He's licking his wounds after Mary lost her license to operate.
Did you know that it is suggested that in ending B of GTA 5, that it was Michael's own words that convinced Franklin to kill him? This is hit.
So basically, I am just planning on just having for at least 3 of the nights just having videos. I might move 2 of the videos that I have. Well, I need to calculate something. So two hours. So I could just have 2 nights worth of videos for my pap. Then, like 2 nights of video games with my pap. Then, like, so that's 4 nights. Then the rest just random crap. So, like, miscellaneous stuff. So, yeah. Plus, also, I did ask a lot of creators if I could react to the content. So, well, one of the channels with like the most videos, I asked him. It has like 2.2 million videos. So if I watch like 10 videos per video that I make, that's gonna be a lot of videos that I will have to make. But that depends on how many videos I like watch in every single one that I make. Plus also live streams. So like a thing that I could do is after all of my live streams that I have an hour of sports, I could just watch an hour of all those channels that I asked to react to. Then after that, I don't know.
consoles were redesigned with a brand new look. Smaller, slimmer, and packed with new ways to play. See your games in richer, more vivid color with HDR graphics. Join the future of play today with the new, redesigned PS4 from only €299.99. PS4 for the players.
Beautiful, isn't it?
It's exquisite. I could never.
With Walmart's express delivery, you could, as fast as an hour. Interesting.
The Walmart you thought you knew is now new.
With 24/7 live chat, ask any how-to, why do you, or what if, with Chewy.
What's up, Greg? Welcome back to another episode of The War is... The depressing rise of AI girlfriends. Lock in. Got the cable TV. Lock in.
Can't get enough tugging? Go to extratug.com for exclusive content.
Okay.
That YouTube won't.
I feel like I'm watching something that I shouldn't be watching.
Let me post and also a bunch of other cool things. Okay, thank you.
When Netflix premiered House of Cards in 2013, viewers were treated to an opening scene showing Kevin Spacey
Hi, one
animal
viewer
cruelty with a foghorn-like hornet.
joined
And just as he smothered the
this
random dog
scrolled
in some
live stream.
analogy, this little artistic move had Netflix themselves smothering the entertainment vessel we sailed on our whole lives, cable TV. Not only did this jaw-dropping
Dude, cable TV is as it will always be dead. The only thing that will ever stay alive on cable is news networks. That is it. The reason cable sucks is because it's like live streaming, but for something that you're not that interested in. Hey, I want to watch an episode of this. Oh, I can't. It's not on for 6 more hours. Oh, it's sports true. Facts. Yeah, like NFL, NHL. Yeah, that, I think sports and news is what it is cable TV. Outside of that, it's just get a streaming service. Get HBO or Hulu or Netflix. Peacock, hell, AMC Plus, who knows?
television show all of us that cable television wasn't the only place you could go to nowadays for well-written, good television. It also showed that Kevin Spacey is really good at playing an evil person.
Where Netflix fell off, Netflix actually does fucking suck. I thought about canceling my Netflix subscription for the first time in a while. I use Hulu the most. Hulu is fire. Hulu's sick, cancel a joke, give in. Bro, it's just like they have nothing. They have nothing. I need to watch Squid Games, though. That's the only thing that keeps Netflix alive is the originals. Because they don't have any good shit that's not theirs anymore. Outside of, like, random niche horror films. Tubi? Yeah, dude, Tubi has better shit. Yeah, ready, don't get into Plex. I know. Yeah.
Oh, and also, so it's almost 1 week since I started this news broadcast. And also, talking about I'm watching a video by Tripolazzi, why cable TV fell off. And we'll just talk about why Netflix fell off. I use YouTube the most, mainly because everything that I need to watch is on YouTube. And also live streaming and video posting. It's mainly on YouTube. And also I do use like TikTok and Instagram and basically all those. I barely post on them. So yeah. And I am approaching on like 1 week of my good old news broadcast starting, because it started on the 19th. So basically, on July 19th of 2026, it would be 1 year of my YouTube channel, and on May 11th, 2026, I'll have my YouTube channel birthday.
The life and death of cable TV is something that I hold near to my heart. This isn't like hearing about how CDs took over cassettes or how DVDs took over VHS. This isn't some long gone technology that Gen Xers whine about. This is us. Like, we lived through this. We all saw what happened here. We all sat around the pot. My ingrown toenails fucking hurting me. God damn it! Oh yeah, that's hurting in there. That needs some digging. Somebody remind me before I end stream fucking 4 hours from now. TMI? Shut up! Campfire watched cable TV die. But it wasn't always a joke of a medium. Cable TV on stream. Yo, Chad, you ever pick out your ingrown toenail and get some toe cheese? Oh my god. Yo, that shit smells so bad. Yo, that's TMI. See, now we're getting it. You said TMI, I'm getting you TMI now. Sometimes when I pick out my ingrown toenails, bro, that like toe cheese comes out. Yo, it smells so bad. Like, I'm dead ass. For a lack of a better term, was the balls. It was dope. With cable TV, consumers had access to hundreds of channels covering every topic imaginable, including a version of Comedy Central that isn't just there to say reruns of The Office all day, every day. You can just turn on the TV and watch the coolest music videos. Bro, I miss Prime Animal Planet. Fucking 6 a.m. Getting ready for school. I'm sitting there eating a bowl of fucking Fruity Pebbles and 2 mango waffles, and that Australian motherfuckers on the sit with her, or whatever. I don't know what he actually sounds like. You see her like, who was that motherfucker that would catch those fish? River monsters?
Man, YouTube has some very good movies.
William Johnson is easily one of the most popular people on social media right now. You probably know him for his videos where he tells these stories of people doing insane-ass crimes. And to most people, that's really all he is, the storyteller guy on TikTok. But most of Ray's modern fans don't really seem to know just how far back his legacy on YouTube really goes. Because he's actually been making videos and has been very popular ever since the early days of YouTube. He's actually considered one of the OG YouTubers who basically paved the way for how most people create content nowadays. Before there was Mr. Beast, PewDiePie, and T-Series, Ray William Johnson was the most subscribed to channel on YouTube at one point, which is insane to think about, but it's true. But it wasn't such a steady rise to where he is now. During Ray's dominance on the internet, he struggled with many issues, including getting screwed over, failed projects, and mental problems. Yet, right now, he's more successful than ever with what he's doing. So, let's start from the beginning. Now, even though Ray is known for his upbeat and humorous personality, he comes from pretty hard times. Raised in Oklahoma City, Ray did not have an ideal childhood. Ray's family was so poor that they were completely dependent on feeding him with food stamps and free lunches. Ray's dad was a drug addict and an alcoholic. He abandoned the family when Ray was only 1 year old, leaving him to be completely raised by his mom. Now, growing up without a father figure, Ray was raised on two big influences in his life: comic books and comedy. Ray would read any comic book that he could find religiously, and he eventually started making his own comic books, doodling characters and designs and just letting his imagination run wild. And he was pretty damn good at it. Being an angsty kid in terrible circumstances, this was a really good outlet for him. And although he had no interest in being a comic or an actor at the time, he loved watching comedians, specifically stand-up comedy. He was into the more edgier stuff like Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, and George Carlin. But his favorite above all of them was Eddie Murphy's 1.5 hour special, Raw. He watched the special so many times that he was able to recite it word for word. Now, Ray and his mom unfortunately did not get along very well while he was growing up. They would argue constantly all the time, every single day, which eventually led to a rebellious 13-year-old Ray to go live with his dad in the next state over, which he regretted doing pretty soon. Now, it started off cool, being with his cool dad that didn't really make him follow any strict rules. He'd let him stay up late, have a beer, and basically let him do whatever he wanted. But then Ray saw the bad side of his father. Now, like I said before, Ray's dad was an alcoholic and a drug addict. He was an unemployed grown man who basically spent every single day getting violently high or drunk and mooching off of his girlfriend, who he also abused on the regular. And Ray would witness this abuse firsthand, not only to his girlfriend, but to his sister. And the things his dad did were so violent they could almost be considered attempted murder.
I remember one day, he picked up one of those big-ass mason jars of loose change and threw it at his girlfriend's head, like full of change. You know how heavy that is? And it shattered on the wall. He took a wooden broom and he speared it through the wall, throwing it at his girlfriend.
Holy shit.
Like, speared it into the sheetrock. The dude was super violent, right?
Now, thankfully, Ray's dad never actually abused him, but he was still a monster. Now, thankfully, Ray was smart enough at the time to realize that his dad was a piece of shit and did not want to emulate any of his character. So, by the end of the school year, he went back home to his mom, who welcomed him with open arms and had a much bigger appreciation for her. And from then on, Ray swore that he would never talk to his father again. But his dad had other plans. Now, after graduating high school, Ray's plan was to go to college and then go to law school to get his Juris Doctor degree. And over the years, he worked to save up money for his college tuition and had about $2,500 saved up. However, right before he was able to attend college, his dad forged his signature and took all of the money out of his bank account. Now, this may not have been much money, but to Ray, this was every single dollar that he had to his name. This was all the money in the world to him. And he grew up in poverty. It's not like he could just ask his mom for another $2,500. And at the time, it seemed like there was really nothing Ray could do about it. So Ray had to delay his college plans and work tables to save up more money. He attended junior college in the meantime and then eventually went to Columbia University. Yeah, when I say Ray was smart, I mean smart. He was accepted on partial scholarship and studied history and continued with his plan to go to law school after. Now, it was during his time in college that he found a website that was starting to gain some traction
YouTube. Ray would spend a lot of his free time watching the funny vloggers and videos that were going viral on this website. It didn't take long for Ray to get pretty addicted to these videos and decided that he wanted to start making his own. And so he borrowed his friend's camcorder and started making vlogs about his everyday life as a college student. He wasn't necessarily trying to go viral, he just wanted to be a part of something. And he had a lot of fun doing it. And soon enough, these silly little vlogs that he posted started to get some views, a couple thousand views actually, and his channel got up to 30 subscribers. And while this may not seem like that much to a lot of people, this was a lot for Ray, considering the fact that he literally wasn't even trying. Now, that channel and all of the videos on it have been deleted ever since, so it's hard to find any re-uploads of them. And keep in mind, this was also in 2007 when YouTube was barely even 2 years old. Most of the trending content that was floating around was people falling down, or cat videos, or people just doing random stuff. But these videos were extremely entertaining at the time. Now, Ray saw all these hilarious videos and got an idea. In 2009, he created the Ray William Johnson channel and started the series that would change his life and YouTube as we know it, equals 3. This was a weekly series where Ray would react to viral videos floating around on the internet. In each episode, there would be 3 videos that he would react to, and he would make witty and funny commentary to all of them.
What's happening? I like animals, especially this fluffy son of a bitch. And as much as I want to reach out and pet his furry ass, apparently his owner doesn't feel the same way. Check it out.
Get the fuck down! Fucking jump! Jump! Get the fuck down from there! Fucking jump! Jump! Do it, you bitch! Do it!
Oh, and it's not just that cat. Apparently the owner has beef with all of his cats.
What the fuck are you looking at? Don't fucking run away from me! Don't fucking go away from that! You're in fucking piece of shit! I'm going to you! Get the fuck outside! I'll end you! Run! Don't fucking stare at me!
Now this asshole who yelled at his cats was brought to my attention by a handful of people. But what they sent me was actually a copy of the original video, which is like 2 years old. And I don't know if the asshole who's yelling at his cats still has a channel, or if he's still yelling at his cats or whatever. So if you find that prick's real channel, then let me know. Because I don't like the fact that he's mistreating his cats. And I would love to send him a little message telling him that his mom's a... That seems like an appropriate response, right?
And at this time, it was a very unique and refreshing type of content. Ray's hilarious jokes over the extremely wild videos and the very off-the-wall editing style made it a very, very addictive thing to watch. Within 2 years, Ray's channel got over 5 million subscribers and got over 2 billion views. All within 2 years. And again, this was still in the early days of YouTube, so that's actually insane to think about. Ray was slam dunking on all of the other big YouTube channels at the time, like Fred, Smosh, and Niga Higa. He was not just YouTube, he was basically the face of YouTube. Equals 3 was getting more views than most television networks. And this was basically the very first form of reaction videos. Many other channels and even TV shows tried to emulate his style, like the Fine Brothers, Tosh.0, and Ridiculousness. Not that they tried to copy him, but the influence was pretty visible.
Not to be racist or anything, but Asian people.
We found completely random people and asked them to interpret what she might have been trying to say.
How about you give me and Man Mountain $750 each and send Uncle Fester there home? He's not carrying a gun. He's useless.
Is that true? You didn't bring a gun?
I didn't think I'd need one.
It's a protection job. Basic common sense that you need a gun to protect your employer. I mean, duh. Dead weight. He's just a third wheel without a piece.
I'll tell you what. If I need a gun, I'll use one of his.
Really? One of my guns? How do you picture that happening exactly?
Well, I guess I'm gonna take it.
That is just special. Take. How you gonna take one of my guns? Come on, Billy, jack on. Take my gun from me. Let me see it. Here. I'll make it easy for you.
You can
make it not so easy.
You got it. What the son of a... Let's see what you got.
A guy like you, I'll bet you have an egg.
That's cute. What else? Oh.
Wow. Now that's impressive.
So many guns, I don't know which one to use. How about you? You want one? All right.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up? Not much. Hold on 1 second. You guys don't have to. Use the phone. You guys say hi to my dad because he's a huge fan. He's been playing this game. Hey, what's up, Dad? Oh, dude. Who is? Who is this? Dad, Michael. Who's this? Oh my God.
Hey, what's your name, man? You got a name or you just got a bumble? Huh?
Oh my God, it's exciting.
Mark. That's Michael. How you doing?
Start the school year off strong with Plus Ultra Soft and its cushion thickness that holds up better. In Jurassic World, every vehicle is Jurassic rated.
Law by Mike is one of the fastest growing creators on the planet right now. And he's getting over 1 billion views a month. But to see exactly how Mike is able to pull off such an insane feat, we need to see exactly how Mike got started on YouTube in the first place. Because he didn't actually start on YouTube. He started on TikTok. Not with the goal of being a content creator or anything, but simply with the goal of expanding his law firm. Mandela Law. And with the rise of creators and influencers during the pandemic, Mike wanted to hop on this trend and post his own content. So in November of 2020, Mike posted his first video. It was just a fun little story about how he won a case for one of his clients. Mike continued to consistently post on TikTok. Then in February of 2021, he posted his first ever YouTube video. It was just a TikTok that he re-uploaded to Shorts. It didn't do much, but Mike stayed consistent on Shorts. And in October of 2021, he grew his channel to 100,000 subscribers. And almost a year later, in March of 2022, he hit 1 million subscribers. Although this seems like insanely fast growth, but if you look at the time that this growth was occurring, a bunch of other creators were growing a similar way because Shorts had just been launched. And since YouTube had just rolled out this new feature, they rewarded the first few people that were very consistent in doing it. This caused a bunch of creators to experience unnatural amounts of growth. And the Law by Mike just happened to be one of those creators. But the difference between Mike and most of the creators that blew up around that time was the fact that Mike never slowed down. He's actually averaging more views now in 2025 than he did in 2022. In fact, he's averaging over 120 million views a short consistently. And at around the time of scripting this, he just hit 12 million subscribers. It's very rare to find a creator doing as well as Mike is on Shorts right now. So what's Mike's secret to obtaining this level of success? For starters, Mike has a great understanding of the audience that he's going after. Whenever Mike first started his channel, he had the intention of getting an older audience because he wanted to promote his offering to that audience. But the weird part was that Mike never really hit the audience that he originally intended to hit. Because instead of adults finding these legal tips useful, kids and teens were finding them interesting and entertaining.
you can see how Mike began to realize who the audience really was as time passed. Because he started adding in fun little transitions, different characters, green screens, and also started making his ideas more consumable for kids and teens. This is extremely important on YouTube, knowing who your audience is and engineering your content for those viewers. This is the reason that Law by Mike is able to gain such a massive audience, because his content is not only consumable for adults, but also teens. It's not just for adults that want to talk about the economical state of the world. He's simply just casting a wider net, allowing him to bring in more viewers. But casting a wider net isn't going to make you average 10 to 20 million views a short. So what exactly is it about his shorts that allow him to average more than 99.9% of creators? Well, I uncovered the 4 secret tricks that Mike uses to ensure that every single short that he uploads will go viral. One is that Mike treats the first frame of his shorts as if it were the thumbnail. What I mean by this is shorts don't have thumbnails like long-form videos do, but you still need a way to stop the viewer from scrolling past your short. And Mike does this extremely well. For example, take a look at this video right here titled How to Survive a Kidnapping. That ended up getting 65 million views. Notice that the first frame is literally Mike being tied up by 2 guys in ski masks and putting him in a van. This is simply just a great way to hook the viewer into the short, ensuring that they don't swipe away. The second trick that Mike uses is that he doesn't just sit in front of the camera and talk. A majority of the time, he's acting out what's happening in front of a green screen or one of his friends is. Again, this is because Mike understands that a majority of his audience are kids that have TikTok Subway Surfers brains. And acting out what's happening in the video rather than just sitting and talking is much more engaging. It's also a great way to make sure that something new and interesting is always happening. The second is never wasted inside of these shorts. The third trick that Mike uses is that he always makes sure that his shorts are pushing the 45 to 60 second range. This is actually pretty important because we all know that YouTube values watch time. Let's say that you uploaded a 20-second short and got 100% attention. Meaning that your average viewer watched the short 100% of the way through. You would get 20 seconds of watch time. Now let's say that you uploaded a short that was a minute or longer. And then again, you get 100% retention. That's now over a minute of watch time versus the 20 seconds that you would have gotten. And I'm not saying that shorter shorts can't do well, but I am saying that for that to happen, people on average need to watch that short multiple times, which isn't too uncommon if the short is good. But if your shorts are longer, you're giving them a better chance to pop off. Because it's a lot easier to get someone to watch a 1-minute short one time than it is to get them to watch a 20-second short 2 or 3 times. The fourth trick that Mike uses is that he doesn't reinvent the wheel. A lot of the times he uses what's already been proven to do well on other people's channels. For example, the most viewed short on Mr. Beast's channel is Will You Fly to Paris for a Baguette with 1.5 billion views. Mike did his own version of that titled Escape the Straitjacket with Money. Also, this other short from Mr. Beast's channel titled Spot the Hidden Person worth $10,000. Mike also did his own version of that titled Mike has also done videos like Is Throwing a Penny off a Building Actually Legal? Because this creator named Veritasium did a similar version on his channel and ended up getting 18 million views. But
She's overdosing.
Carrying a naloxone, you can save a life.
Hi, I'm Brad Baxter, founder of Whisker and Litter Robot. 25 years ago, I inherited 2 cats and an overflowing litter box. I knew there had to be Bobby Meisner, one of the greatest artists of our generation. If you guys aren't familiar with Bobby Meisner, he's a YouTuber that has blown up a little bit recently. A couple months ago, he posted this video called Life of a Billionaire Son. It's a video talking about how his dad was like a really successful businessman and sold a company for a lot of money when he was pretty young, and now Bobby has more money than he knows what to do with. Needless to say, 6 figures, he was only 4. Well, not really. I think think he was like 15 when his dad sold the company. But nevertheless, Bobby has been taking time out of his busy billionaire schedule to show us peasants what it's like to have so much money that you could literally buy a country. So today, I just kind of wanted to watch a couple of Bobby's videos and get a little bit of a glimpse into the life of a billionaire son. See what it's like. Maybe check out some of the crazy parties he has, some of the wild adventures he goes on. It's gonna be lit. So this is a video that Bobby posted in November. It's called Life of a Billionaire Son. And so many people in the commentary community especially have already talked about this video, so I'm gonna sort of skim through it. This video is sort of like a summary of his life up till this point.
Your life is like a movie, and you're the
There's no platform that really thrives off negativity the way that YouTube does. This platform really made it possible to make a living as a hater. I mean, look, anytime a big creator or celebrity messes up, we're always so quick to milk the living fuck out of it for clicks. I mean, again, look at me. So when we see someone who's a genuine positive influence in the creator space, it's quite a fresh breath of air. Nas Daily at one point was a fresh breath of air. At one point, he was one of the most unique storytellers on this platform. A creator who had a vision to change the world one video at a time. He shared some of the most amazing and inspiring stories that I've ever seen. Nas was a creator who YouTube really needed at such a dire time. A couple years ago, I would have bet some serious money that he was going to be the next Mr. Beast. No joke. He was just so different, and every single video he made was the highest quality stuff that I've ever seen. But before Nas could really reach his potential, he let his own ego get in the way. What started off as a journey to help save the world slowly started to turn into a big cash cow. Exploiting people, possibly faking charities, exploiting culture, lying to his fans. Nas slowly made himself less reputable day by day. A couple years ago, his videos were getting millions of hits on average, but now they can barely even scrap 100K. He gets flooded with hate comments every time he posts, and it doesn't seem like he really has much time before he officially hits rock bottom. Let's cut the bullshit and get right into it. Now, in 1992, Nas was born in Israel to a Palestinian family. And as you can imagine, this was a very interesting ethnical background for Nas. It created a pretty big conflicting cultural identity for him, and he struggled with it for a lot of his life. He had a really hard time fitting in as an Arab living in Israel, but the struggle would pay off for him, as it was the subject for his college essay that he would use to get into Harvard University. And it was here that Nas would choose to be in an aerospace engineering program, which was pretty extreme. Like, that's some big brain activity. And in college, Nas would actually use these skills to make his very first YouTube video. He gathered a bunch of his fellow aerospace friends, and they made a video where they sent a burger into space. He hit up a local burger joint to give them $1,000 to cover the cost, and they agreed to do it. And the video became an instant hit, getting over 2 million views. Now, this was back in 2012, which was still the earliest days of YouTube, but this was extremely unique. This was actually covered up by a lot of news stations, and even Jay Leno talked about it. For a first ever YouTube video, safe to say, it was pretty fucking good. But Nas didn't really see this as a continuous thing, and actually didn't upload for another 2 years. His very next video would actually be a video where he got 3 different people from different countries to solve a single Rubik's Cube together. And this video also did very well, as it was a very unique idea that has never been done on YouTube before. But again, he didn't really see this as a thing to make as a job. He just saw it as a simple hobby. Post-college, Nas landed a job at Venmo where he was earning $120,000 a year as an engineer. Now, adjusting for inflation, that would be around $180K in today's money. He lived in New York City during this time and essentially lived the dream life. He was partying in the greatest city in the world every single weekend. He was making more than double what the average person in America made straight out of college. Nas was living the life, man. But it was when Nas turned 24 that he realized that he genuinely was not happy. The money, the success, the city lifestyle, it wasn't really doing that much for him. Looking at how the average person dies at 76, Nas realized that he lived nearly a third of his life and just simply did not like it. And it was around this time that Nas was inspired by YouTuber Casey Neistat, one of the most popular and influential bloggers at the time. Casey completely changed the game of YouTube when he was dominating. Casey's whole entire motto was to make every single moment of your life count. And he basically demonstrated that by posting these extremely high-quality vlogs daily. Casey was a huge inspiration to his many fans, and Nas was one of them. He loved the style of videos and how it inspired people to really take life by the balls. So after 1.5 decided to quit. He was now going to live his dream in the world. He didn't have a plan, but he did have a goal of somehow finding a way to fulfill himself. And inspired by Casey Neistat, Nas would decide to actually do his own daily style of vlogs. For 1,000 days straight, Nas vowed he was going to post a 1-minute video onto his Facebook account. These videos were essentially going to be documenting his travels.
Here's the idea. Once a day, I'm going to make one video that's 1 minute long. That's it. In New York City, all featured. Today, Kenya, Ethiopia, India, then Nepal, then Japan, then all the way to San Francisco, then back home, New York City.
Every single day, Nas would find something to talk about, whether it was the food he ate or a certain person he met or something interesting that he found about a country that he was in at the time. Anything that he found interesting was going to be the topic of that video for that. The videos would take 10 hours to make with 7 hours of just filming and 3 hours of editing. But there was just one problem. The videos kind of sucked. Nas didn't have a ton of experience making these videos and was very obviously an amateur. And so for 9 months, Nas saw absolutely no results until day 270, where he made a video talking about the Philippines. In this video, Nas talked about how, to his surprise, the Philippines were actually extremely fluent in English. It's actually like as if he was still in America.
When you think of English-speaking countries, you think of Australia, the United Kingdom, and the US. But what you don't think of is the Philippines.
The Filipinos speak such good English that it makes me feel like I never left the United States. Here I am eating McDonald's, taking Ubers, and enjoying the beautiful skyscrapers of Manila, just like I would do in New York. This video was very complimenting to the Philippines and got millions of views. This was Nas's sign to keep going with the content as it was finally going somewhere. Now, why did he initially post on Facebook instead of YouTube? YouTube was more monetizable and could find more people and had a lot more opportunities to do. I mean, who the fuck posts on Facebook anymore? But the reason was because all of Nas's family and friends were on Facebook, and those were really the people he was making these videos for. And honestly, I completely get it. So how did Nas support himself when making these videos if he wasn't making any money? Well, for a while, he depended completely on the money they saved up while working at Venmo and lived very minimalistically. And slowly over time, he was able to gain opportunities for other side gigs with the promotion of his videos. And as Nas stayed consistent, his following really started to take off. By the end of 2017, he had over 4 million followers on Facebook. And what really made him gain such an audience so quickly was his professional editing style that was very similar to Casey Neistat. His one-part presentation is very interesting and unique timings, and also translating his video to multiple language, which was a very, very big help. And by the end of the series in 2019, Nas had over 12 million followers on Facebook. And at this point, Nas started to rake in $80,000 from all of the opportunities that were coming in. So quitting his job was definitely the best move for sure. And it was that same year that Nas finally made the move to YouTube as well. And this is where he really started to take off. Now, given that he was already very experienced in making videos and he already had a pretty big platform, his videos on YouTube took off pretty quickly. It was on here that he posted his 1-minute series along with longer versions of those other videos. That same year, he posted his most popular video of the day where he visited North Korea and he showed the dark, honest, brutal conditions of the country. And as we all know, North Korea is basically a living hellhole that starves its citizens. Nas did something that not a lot of other content creators have the balls to do, and by going directly into the country, literally filming and interviewing citizens. Considering it got over 30 million views, it did pretty fucking well. And tons of his other videos took off as well. A story about a man who created a chemical solution for pollution in his local lake. A mountain in Armenia that literally defies gravity. A guy who was the real life Nazi. Nas made videos that were interesting, inspiring, and straight to the point. And these videos all really shared the theme of living life to the fullest and doing good for humanity. Nas really knew how to make almost anything interesting. Even a simple video about some random guy he met that roller skates around the city, he was able to make that extremely interesting and inspiring. And that video got over 16 million views. Nas was really living the dream. I would have to say that his life was amazing. His success continued into 2020, even when the world was burdened by COVID. A person like Nas was the perfect breath of fresh air during a very dark time in history. This essentially gave Nas exactly what he wanted in life. Millions of subs, millions of dollars, and even a nice girlfriend. Nas even started the Nas Academy.
But I just changed this.
We need something bigger. Like Charmin Mega Double XL. Until 2020, when he got caught faking a charity. Now, on Facebook, Nas claimed that he was starting a charity for the East Jerusalem Hospital Network, which had multiple stations in Palestine. Obviously, he was trying to do a charity to basically give back to his community in some type of way. The charity did super well and raised $70,000. However, the hospital themselves released on Facebook that they were never associated with Nas and never had any contact with him. And soon after this, Nas deleted the initial Facebook post promoting the charity, and there didn't seem to be any updates on this. What he did with the money, whether he kept it or possibly secretly gave it away, is completely unknown.
Now, this controversy did get swept under the rug and wasn't really talked about that much. But what Nas did get caught with was trying to exploit an elderly woman. You see, on July 16th of 2021, Nas posted a video about the world's oldest tattoo artist, a 103-year-old tattoo artist named Apo Wang. She was very, very well known in the Philippines for getting tattoos in these very ancient, minimalistic tools, not using any of the modern machines you see today. It was a pretty standard Nas daily video about a very interesting story, and he even announced that he would have Wang Od be a teacher on the Nas Academy. It was advertised that she was going to be teaching her ancient practices to people who were interested in learning. Sounds pretty sick, and
I don't know if I'm liking deadlines. I really think I'm starting to like deadlines.
K4 and K5.
From apologizing after falsely accusing someone,
I'm sorry we got this wrong,
to taking accountability when you don't have to.
I am sorry. I am so sorry.
Here's how an apology can make you loved or hated. Starting with comedy YouTuber The Manny Show, whose apology would change everything after he abused the copyright system, turning a commentary channel A-wing.
This morning, my Manny Show video just got smited. The video in question that was taken down is why everyone hates the Manny Show.
Given that A-wing was following copyright laws, Manny was now in hot water. Manny is taking it too far, bro. Pull out the ukulele and start singing for us. Even Penguin Zero commented on the situation.
13 seconds of the video was enough to lead the Manny Show to strike the entire fucking channel here. That's some fucking filthy fish paste right there.
But 10 days later, Manny offered an explanation and an apology.
Ahead of VidCon, I hired an agent to help me manage my monetization sharing, and they went beyond by filing a copyright claim on Edwin's video. To those outraged by this, I am genuinely sorry with what has happened.
Along with correcting the mistake,
I immediately fired the agent and contacted YouTube to reinstate the video and make things right with Edwin. But at the end of the day, it is my name on the channel. I hired the agent, and I take full responsibility.
Manny made no excuses, and this honest approach got him forgiveness. I appreciate him making a genuine apology. You can tell he meant it. This is possibly the greatest apology I've seen on this app, including from Penguin Zero.
Legitimately, this is a really good response to the whole thing. Probably one of the best I've seen.
Now, the Manny Show's back to making comedic skits with an extra 500,000 subscribers. But where Manny's apology cleared his name, Keemstar apologized to avoid a defamation lawsuit. In January 2016, Drama Alert host Keemstar would allege RuneScape streamer RS Glorian Cold was actually John Phillips, a man who'd committed a heinous crime.
John, 54, of Fitchburg, Massachusetts, is accused of having sex with a 13-year-old Michigan girl. John was arrested for this, and he recently got out of jail, and the first thing he did was stream RuneScape.
But this turned out to be completely false.
My name's Sir Tony Ray, and I'm coming to you on glory and gold.
And once Tony showed an ID to prove his innocence, the internet turned against Keemstar. Defamation is illegal. I hope this is taken to court. You guys literally just bullied the nicest person ever in the history of Twitch. And by the end of the day, he was desperate to put out the fire.
Earlier today, someone on my news team provided me with a story that I thought was vetted, that I thought was correct, and it wasn't. It was wrong. And this isn't a little gup. This is a big gup. This is a serious big gup. The guy that works for me is no longer working for me. And any damages that we've caused this guy, Tony, that we are going to take care of.
But viewers did not buy the apology. You asked your team for confirmation on the story's legitimacy after you reported it. Fortunately for Keem, however, Tony did not press charges, letting the YouTuber escape without major consequences. But while Keem was happy to dodge accountability, MatPat went out of his way to take accountability. On June 5th, 2022, MatPat shared his theory about Five Nights at Freddy's books having a scrapped alternate reality game.
Maybe, just maybe,
maybe it could have been that they were intentionally designed to set up secret puzzles that we were meant to solve, and those puzzles never got fully realized. I believe that Scott was planning to use this final book as a launching point, the start of a real-world treasure hunt. I need you to help me either solve this thing once and for all, or debunk it.
Of course, this was just a theory, but fans were enthusiastic. A bit too enthusiastic. I work in a small diner in southern Utah, and we got 17 calls over my shift asking if we were Fazbears. Like, come on, y'all. It's common sense. Don't be harassing people over something that may not even be real. Prompting MatPat to address the situation just 4 days after his video.
To the loyal theorists watching this video, stop. Cannot make that clear enough. I appreciate your enthusiasm, but this is not the way to do things. It is never acceptable to call someone or their place of business to look for lore in a video game.
On top of ending the treasure hunt, MatPat held himself accountable, apologizing for those affected.
This is me formally saying to those business owners, those members of the community, individuals who may have felt harassed or burned by this, I am sorry. I am so sorry. It was never my intention to cause issues for people or businesses. I want to make it very clear that if and when we reference ARGs on the channel, that there is going to be a clear set of guidelines that every single person should be aware of and follow. We've never had this sort of issue come up in the past, but now that it's here, it's time that we move forward as responsible human beings.
This ethical approach earned him a lot of love. Huge respect to Matt and the crew for addressing this. Now, this is the proper YouTube apology and not the basic trend half-assed ones, demonstrating why he is so beloved even after his retirement. Unlike Linus, whose ego turned his own fans against him. On June 20th,
You'll love your skin with Proactive.
Mr. Beast once said in an interview that the next content creator who can pass him is either Eric or Ryan Trahan. At this current moment, Ryan Trahan is loved by the vast majority of the internet, leading him to accomplish a long-time goal of his in creating his own candy company. On the other hand, Eric is fighting a steep decline in subscribers after reaching 10 million subscribers in under 3 years. This is how Ryan Trahan destroyed Eric. January 9th, 2015, Ryan Trahan would upload his first video onto his channel titled PSA Drink Water. He continued to upload videos throughout high school, mostly centered around track and field, where he would showcase his track meets and training until May 26, 2017, when Ryan uploaded a video of his valedictorian speech.
They tell you that you can't make it to the pros, you can't build a great company, you can't build the house of your dreams, you can't make a real difference, you can't change the world. You can't. Never let them take those things from you.
This speech gave us an insight to how ambitious Ryan Trahan really is. Following high school, Ryan attended Texas A&M University, where he studied economics and was a track athlete. But not too long into college, Ryan was failing all of his classes. This was possibly in part because Ryan had started his own company called Neptune that sold water bottles, which is a pretty smart product, and it did pretty well because, a lot of people use water bottles. But Ryan's time in college did not last long, as on November 6, 2017, Ryan uploaded a video titled, "I Have to Drop Out of College." In this video, Ryan broke down many reasons on why college was not for him, with the main being his focus and excitement towards YouTube and Neptune, not college and track and field. This made sense because Ryan had just recently completed a 5-part series on his channel where he turned 1 cent into $1,000, which is when Ryan really started getting traction on YouTube. As the channel grew, the internet really took a liking to Ryan, with him being so down-to-earth, funny, and his somewhat awkward personality. Ryan has done the Penny Challenge series several times, and it has been a staple on his channel, which he now runs as a fundraiser every year. Making it a fundraiser just boosted Ryan's popularity even more because of his charitable work. This all led to Ryan accomplishing his goal of starting his own candy brand called Joyride, leaving Ryan to be loved by many at the time of this video, but the same can't be said about Eric at this current moment. But before that, a word from our sponsor, Aura. During our deep research,
For life with pets, there's Chewy with everything you need. The mealtime, playtime.
trial today. Aura provides this all to you at one affordable price. Just enter the URL on the screen or click the top link in the description. Thank you to our sponsor, Aura. Now back to the video. Eric is currently sitting at 15 million subscribers, being one of the fastest to reach the mark in YouTube history. Similar to Ryan Trahan, he was also an athlete growing up, with him being the star diver on his high school swim team. While in high school, Eric started a channel called Fresh Flipping, which showcased trampoline and diving tricks. Eric actually started his main YouTube channel back in 2015, however, he didn't truly start posting videos until July of 2019, when he posted a video titled, "I spent 24 hours in the real Stranger Things town." This was a pretty high quality upload from the start. Eric had a way of getting viewers to simply click and watch his videos. He did videos with YouTubers who had more subscribers, such as David Dobrik and Logan Paul, which just helped Eric boost his channel even further. But as his popularity grew, so did some of the controversy surrounding Eric. A YouTuber named Soggy Cereal brought out the evidence showing that Eric has been faking videos and fooling his audience and fans this entire time. Eric released a series where he would travel across the world for 30 days and upload a video every single day during his journey, and if he doesn't, Mr. Beast would delete his channel. I had my doubts from the start because uploading a video every day while traveling across the country is nearly impossible. Eric doesn't upload simple vlogs where he just talks to the camera. He uploads some of the highest quality videos on YouTube. The problem with Eric has never been the quality, it has been the honesty. In the first video of the series, Eric locates a parade and shows it in the video. This would become a huge mistake because you have people such as Soggy Cereal who will find out what parade that was and when that parade actually occurred, just to verify that Eric was doing what he said he was. The parade that Eric saw was the Dublin Services Parade, which had happened back on September 2nd. But if this challenge was legit, that parade would have occurred in December when he had started this series, not in September, several months prior. At this point, from the get-go, you can see that the entire series was pre-recorded and the whole Mr. Beast channel deletion talk was just for extra clicks. There was also many more clues throughout the series that the series was pre-recorded. This was not the first time that Eric had been called out for faking videos. He uploaded a video several years back where he was allegedly visiting the Angle, an island in Canada where nobody can come in and nobody can leave. He claimed that the Angle had lost more than $10 million in tourist revenue and he was going to head there and spend the most amount of money possible. He was planning on getting out to the Angle by riding ice bikes, but after losing both of the bikes due to them falling through the ice, which there's no way to know if that was legit or not, and I would guess not based on what comes next, Eric decided to hire a private pilot to take them to the Angle, and the pilot allegedly agreed to fly them, but he did not want to be in the video and wanted his identity to be kept private. I can understand this because Eric gets millions of views a video and not everyone wants their business out there. Eric thought it would be a good idea to use a fake name for the pilot in the video. However, the fake name he used was actually the real pilot's name. And to take it even further, he allegedly dubbed in an audio voiceover, making it look like the pilot couldn't get the plane started. Eventually, the plane took off and they arrived at the Angle. However, as Soggy Cereal uncovered, they were actually at the Sportsman Lodge, the same location where they started the video at with the ice bikes. I mean, if you were going to fake videos, at least be smart enough not to record at the same location that you started the video at when you were attempting to make it to the Angle. It wouldn't have been as big of a deal if the video wasn't all about giving back a bunch of money to this suffering town. Making a video faking giving away money is basically selling your soul for views and money. It's going to be hard for many fans in the future to believe that all of Eric's videos that he uploads are real, especially when he is competing with Ryan Trahan's fans. It is becoming easier and easier to support Ryan because he has never been caught faking videos, and a large majority of the videos he uploads are for charity. Eric has faked a charitable video in the past, and if you are willing to lie about charitable donations, there is no saying what else you might do in order to get more clicks and views. Ryan Trahan has never needed to fake videos, and he has always been his genuine self. This has really helped him with the kill them with kindness approach, as he can destroy other creators by not even saying a single word. He leads by example, and so far from everything that we've seen, he leads with honesty. Whether you like Ryan Trahan or not, it's hard not to respect him. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure to check out our sponsor Aura with the first link in the description and start your 2-week free trial today.
I was done. I immediately took my Invisalign out, and it does come with these little tongs to take them out of the water so you can use them or not use them. I noticed that it didn't take the stains out of them, but when I looked at the water, I definitely could see stuff floating inside the water. So it definitely works on getting like the dirty bacteria stuff out, but definitely would need to add like a cleaning tablet to the water to get those extra stains out.
For every 5-star apology by a YouTuber, there is one that is widely regarded as a 1-star, starting with the internet's newest, most controversial YouTuber, Mr. Beast, who on November 23rd, 2024, would sit down with Oompaville to address the allegations against him, accusing his fans of being easily manipulated.
I got manipulated.
Yeah, of course.
Only to do the same thing once questioned about his faulty product.
Friend of the show, Rosanna Pansino, happened to get a moldy lunch leaf.
Every single luxury with cheese meat is USDA inspected. There is no mold when it leaves our factory. After that point, there are variables that you just can't control.
This trend of refusing to take responsibility continued throughout the interview.
On May 12, 2021, you, Mr. Beast, tweeted in response to it was a Helio Trades tweet. There's a gym sitting there on the market at an eye-watering price set to explode during the Five Summer 2.0. And then you responded by saying super ? With a crazy emoji. Why did you not disclose that you had a vested interest in the coin that you were tweeting about?
I did not tell people to buy super or anything, and I highly doubt anyone bought it because they saw me reply super to a tweet.
Viewers found this extremely unbelievable. You can't tell me the man that has himself claimed to have figured out social media and has pioneered tactics to absolutely maximize engagement didn't expect people to buy a token he was interacting with publicly? But worse was Mr. Beast's response to his investigation into his own company.
It wasn't an internal investigation. It was an external investigation. If they found anything illegal, they were obligated to report it to the police.
This wasn't even completely true. A hired law firm / lawyer is not required to report something illegal to authorities as it's protected by attorney-client privilege. And viewers were outraged. This was so calculated on Mr. Beast's end. Wasn't faced with the notorious YouTuber apology. He's creative. Nevertheless, Mr. Beast continues making videos trying to force people to forget his mistakes. Unlike Ryan Trahan, who took full accountability after violating COVID lockdown restrictions. In 2021, Ryan and his now wife Haley would come under fire for secretly marrying during the COVID lockdown. And while some viewers were on their side, the backlash eventually forced the couple to apologize.
We were so set on getting married and so excited about it that we blinded ourselves to what's actually happening in the world, and we chose to be selfish.
We don't have reasonable explanation, and that's something that we've had to come to terms with.
There's no excuse for this. Like, at the end of the day,
we put ourselves first before a world that's literally paying right now.
Nevertheless, Ryan and Haley did try to fix their mistake.
I can't go back and change that decision anymore. And so I feel like the only way now that we can actually do something tangible to just do something about it. What's the difference with you nonprofit and COVID relief organizations?
Even better, the couple took full accountability.
This is in no way an expectation of like a clean slate now. We have so much more work to do, but I think it's about time we take accountability for this and be honest with you guys.
Earning back their audience. I literally don't think it matters at all. It's their wedding, their special day. Only happens once, and it's been tainted from all the gossipy people online. Now Ryan and Haley are happily married as they continue creating content for their individual YouTube channels. But where Ryan and Haley apologized for a selfish decision, tech reviewer Marcus Brownlee apologized for risking innocent school children's lives. On November 11, 2024, Marcus would drive 96 miles per hour in a school zone, blurring the speed past 60 miles an hour to cover up his crime. But this didn't escape his viewers' notice, provoking criticism.
Coming from a channel as large as Marquise Brownlee, somebody who I know is smart, somebody who, at his size, could easily have taken the initiative to find like a highway to do a pull-on.
And losing his fans' trust. In response to this backlash, the YouTuber cut out the clips of him speeding and apologized. There was a clip with the action cam of me test driving a car and going way too fast. Absolutely inexcusable and dangerous. All I can do is apologize and promise never to do anything close to that stupid again. But even this was seen as an attempt to cover up his actions. And while Marcus explained that decision, I also understand that this looks like covering it up, but I think it's the right thing to do. There's no reason to leave that clip in, and I would never want to make it seem okay by leaving it in the video. Nevertheless, Marques's fans are still willing to forgive him as they wait for his next move. In contrast, Dan TDM never needed his fans' forgiveness, but asked for it anyway. On December 5th, 2024, gaming YouTuber Dan TDM would post a video inspired by the most infamous apology of all time.
Sorry, I haven't been here as much as I like to. So here's my apology, it's the least that I can do.
Unlike Colleen Ballinger, however, Dan's apology was about something far more innocent.
I've been busy, be sick, snotty noses, my throat is hurting, and we can't catch a break. Winter plus a nursery, there's only so many jokes I can take.
On top of this, Dan sang of his mental health struggles.
I'm horrifically anxious about everything I really shouldn't. I shy away from everything when I told myself that I wouldn't.
And his honesty was met with love. You know what? I wouldn't mind more Dan TDM songs. A lot of the things said in this song I can relate to. Now, Dan's back to posting regularly for his over 29 million loyal subscribers. Contrary to the Liver King, whose one-star apology was just the start of his downfall into